Hello, hello. How are you doing?
Hey, you guys, it is Wellness Wednesday. You guys know the drill. It's amazing how we come to you guys every Wednesday and have such wonderful information. So, the first thing I want you to do, like we did last week, is go into your phone and text 10 people that we are live on either Facebook or YouTube, Natural Health Hub LLC on YouTube. Text 10 people. I mean, it doesn't take that long to do that. Tell them that we're talking about food sensitivities. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to do it right as Crystal does her testimony. You guys know how we start off the show. Just so that you guys can see, it's simple, easy, and, you know, you can do it at any time. I'm not being rude to Crystal because I'm telling her what I'm doing.
No, I love it. I love it. It's
Get
a good
on your
idea.
phone. Do that 10, do at least 10 people. Say,
You
hey,
never know.
Kathy and Crystal are on. Huh?
I say, you never know. Someone's probably on their lunch hour. They could have time to watch it today.
Or even put it in their earbuds, guys. You know what? Just because we are sitting in front of you with, our faces, I listen to so much stuff on YouTube just in my earbuds.
Yeah, me
I
too.
don't have to watch it, although we are kind of cute. So yeah, go on your phones. Tell them to go on and watch us. And then when you do, subscribe, like, and then also put in, there's a little bell on the YouTube subscription. Please touch that bell so that you can get notifications. So all you have to do is just forward that link to the people. That way they don't have to try to find us. But it's simple as pie. It's so simple. I'm about to text the lady that I talked to last night about one of our devices that we have. She's ecstatic about it. We had a show not too long ago about it. Is quantum leap. I'm telling you guys, it's quantum physics, and it's amazing on how it works on your body. And so I was telling her about it last night, and she was like, "Oh, I got to know more about it." So we did a show. Thank goodness we did the show, and I forwarded that to her this morning, and now I'm letting her know we're live. So it's not that hard, you guys. It's not that hard.
I love it. That was
We
such
love
a good one.
everybody that comes with us on a weekly basis. We really, truly do. But we want more of you guys. We're talking good stuff every week, and something's out there is going to resonate with somebody. It may even be changing lives. We hear it all the time on Kathy. I binge watched you guys last night. That was so good. Or Kathy, sometimes we don't even see the people that come on, especially if it's an after broadcast, and they still come up to us and say how well they done. Is that true to you?
That's absolutely true. And I also have people tell me their favorite experts that come on live. So they tell me which ones they like to watch the most. They have their little favorites and stuff, and tell me all kinds of things.
Yeah, I think it's pretty amazing what we do on a weekly basis, and we love you guys. We want you guys to join in. We want you to participate. Please call us in. You can call my phone number, 816-289-1. I'm sorry, 816-896-1237. That's still wrong.
What is wrong with you? No, I can't take her anywhere, guys.
0595. 816-896-0595. That's the phone to call in if you want to have any questions. And then text me first, though, to let me know that you're the person that's calling, because I won't answer if I'm online. So, I mean, that makes sense. Or live broadcasting. So anyway, 816-896-0595. I have too many phone numbers. Okay. So Crystal, I'm so sorry I did that promo first.
No, it's great.
You guys know you can always contact us also on our website, which is naturalhealthhub.square.site. Please contact us there. Go in there, look and see what we do. One show, we're going to have everything specifically to what we do. We're going to break everything down, what it does in the body, how it works in the body. Like one, for instance, is muscle. What is it?
Muscle testing?
Yeah, the muscle testing. What's it called? There you go. Yeah. Every time I try to remember that, I think of anesthesiology, and that's not it.
No, that's definitely not that one. No, kinesiology. Kinesiology is really associated with traditional Chinese medicine, which is another thing that I like. So when we talk about that one day, we will also talk about traditional Chinese medicine and how it helps the body.
Actually, we want to get a special guest on that day too. So hopefully we can get her on to talk with us about it. But I am going to stop talking, and I'm going to let Crystal do her testimony. As you guys know, her testimony is amazing. She is a walking miracle.
Oh,
And I
thank
don't
you.
say that lightly. I say it truly. When you hear her testimony, you're going to hear it at the beginning of every show because it's that important. And it segues into how and why we do what we do. Since Crystal's come into my life, in all honesty, my life has changed in a wonderful way. It really has, when it comes to purpose in life and when it comes to just feeling better. You know, aches and pains are gone. Stomach aches are gone. The second I eat something wrong, I know I've eaten it wrong because my stomach aches come back. A couple of days in a row, I woke up with a headache. I hadn't had a headache in a long time, but then I got my ears pierced here. I don't know if you guys can see that. See where I got my ear pierced?
Yep.
I used to suffer from every headache out there. Cluster, migraines, sinuses, every last headache you can have. Even climax orgasm headaches, you guys. And if you've never heard of that before, it's a true thing. I have had every headache out there, high blood pressure headaches, all of it, and sugar headaches. And so I stopped. All my headaches stopped when I got my ears pierced here. And the last couple of mornings they came back, and it was because I was taking a herb at night and not eating afterwards. And I believe that that's why. So last night I didn't take that herb, and it was on an empty stomach, so I think that's why it was bothering me.
Yeah.
And now my head doesn't hurt this morning, so that was a great thing. But I just wanted you guys to know that. Also, before I let Crystal do her thing, yesterday was Prince's birthday, so I have on purple. You can't really see. Prince's birthday was yesterday. So I just want to say happy birthday, Prince. I wish you were still here. We really love and miss you. And know you're one of your biggest fans is right here loving on you still. So yeah, I smile every time I hear Prince's music, especially when it's the 80s, because that's what 70s and 80s, you guys. I knew of his music way back then. And that was the one person that me and my husband argued about. That was the one man that could take me away from him.
That's funny.
All right, Crystal, go for it.
All righty. Well, hello. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday, y'all. And that was a lot of good information, Kathy. Thank you for that. And so anyways, I am a holistic health coach and an herb specialist. And the reason I got into all this is because years ago, I was actually diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. It is an inflammatory bowel disease. It's similar to Crohn's. It's like one step down from Crohn's. A lot of people have heard of Crohn's. You know, years ago, you didn't really hear of any of this. Like even when it started when I was 18, I'm now like what, almost 34. And there was no information out there. And I all of a sudden, you know, I lost over 30 pounds in a month. I was like, what's wrong with me? I'm not feeling good. Went to the hospital. I was 18 at the time, and found out I had the ulcerative colitis. They wanted to, just like I had another flare up when I was 24, which was worse, by the way. And both times, doctors, they wanted to put me on steroids, you know, ulcerative colitis medication, and you name it. And I did get on those two things for a little bit, but they just really made things worse. They caused more internal bleeding, caused more pain, more ulcerations, all kinds of things they kept causing. And then when I was 24, because it was much worse, the doctors told me if I was any older, like in my 50s or something, I could have died because I was basically on my deathbed. And
that's the part that kills me every time she says that, you guys. Go ahead, sorry.
No, it was a big deal. And I went down to 97 pounds when I was 24, within 1 month. And you know, didn't have that much to lose, and I lost a lot in 1 month. And I was feeling like death, literally like death. Again, they wanted to put me on, like I said, the steroids, the ulcerative colitis medication. They even talked about chemotherapy. They talked about surgery. They talked about all these things. And when I was 18, when I first found out, I found this naturopathic doctor, and she taught me a lot of things, and what she told me worked, but I wasn't serious about it. So then at 24, like I said, I got into that flare up, and this time it was too much. And I had a daughter. I was a single mom, and I had to even move back in with my mother, and haven't lived with her since I was 18, you know, and I had to like quit my job, all these things. It's really, it really brings you to rock bottom pretty much when you don't have your health. Let's just say that. And so I went back to her and I said, I need to learn and just know everything you do. Like I need to heal my body, and I trust that you can do it because you're the only one that has helped me in the past that actually worked. And so I learned from this woman, and I learned from other naturopathic doctors, people with PhDs, other medical doctors even, and I learned herbs, I learned essential, even this, I know people talk about essential oils, and they actually, I feel like they take it very lightly. Essential oils are very powerful, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But I'm just saying, I learned all kinds of stuff. For instance, iridology, kinesiology, the muscle testing we were talking about. We just started learning about frequencies and how more biofeedback is available to us and how it works for the body to benefit our health. And I started doing all these things, and I started getting better. I didn't have to take the medications anymore. And the doctors told me that this disease was not curable, that I would have it for the rest of my life, that I would have to be on medications for the rest of my life, that I could possibly, since when I was 18, they say usually people develop colon cancer 10 years later. You know, there's a big chance of that. They told me all these things, and my body started healing with the herbs. I stopped taking the medications because the medications were making it worse, and they couldn't understand, how are you getting better? And I'm like, I told them along the way what herbs and things I was taking. They were telling me, you know, not sure if it was safe or not. Like, it's just food, you know, and this food doesn't bother me. It makes me feel better. So I kept doing it. And they're like, okay, well, keep doing what you're doing, because my inflammation levels started to go down. And then here's how I knew this. It's because when I started changing my lifestyle, changing my diet, the food that I ate, managing my stress, all the holistic stuff, I did this test, and I went back and forth to the doctor to take this test called CRP, C-reactive protein. That tests the inflammation level in your blood, and 1 and under is like no inflammation, that's healthy. 1 and above is inflammation in your body. And a lot of people have a high level of inflammation in their body they don't even know about. And I was at a 12 point something when I went into the hospital.
So your pain level had to been, and not just in the stomach area, but all over your body.
All throughout my body.
Had to been horrible.
Yeah. I couldn't even hardly get out of bed sometimes, but I had to because I was in the bathroom constantly. I couldn't do regular things like go to the grocery store. That was difficult for me, you know, just to even go for a 5-minute ride.
So let me go back to the inflammation.
Mhm.
You guys, if you are experiencing pains in your body, in your muscles, in your joints, and you don't have the flu, because sometimes it feels like the flu, that's inflammation.
Yeah.
It's inflammation, and it's not water. I don't want you guys to think that we're talking water. It's not water. It's inflammation, like your body is inflamed. And it's causing pain in your body. So a lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand why that's happening. And the minute that I started eating right, my pain diminished.
Yeah.
And the minute that I start eating wrong, it comes right back.
That's true.
So it's preventative.
Yeah.
It's preventative. So I just wanted people to know that, why am I achy? Why am I having, you know, it's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just plain old inflammation. And who talks about it? We need to let you guys know that you can get rid of it.
Yeah, that's
not
true.
Weight loss.
And you can get rid of it. Yeah, you can get rid of it. I ate real food, cut out certain things, inflammation, like what we're going to talk about today, food sensitivities. And I added herbal supplements and things like that. I took care of my mental health, emotional health, and I'm still working on that. It's not like you do it one time and you're done. You do this throughout your entire life. This is a lifestyle, and so I like I said, I went back to the doctor, checking my inflammation levels, the C-reactive protein, CRP. And like I said, it started at 12, and within 1 year, I got it down to 3.18. And that was pretty good for me for 1 year. I thought just using herbs, no medications, things like that. And then after that, I haven't even gone back because I know it's diminished after that, because I feel less pain, I'm feeling better. I no longer have ulcerative colitis, and which was supposed to be incurable, So yeah, you have to understand that food is information to the body. Food is medicine. And when you give yourself the right food, it's going to tell you things. You're going to see that maybe it's making you feel bloated. Maybe it's making you have distension and gas. You know, maybe you have acne. Maybe you have psoriasis. Maybe you have eczema. Maybe you have, you know, liver spots, brown spots. They call these different things. You know, you have dark circles under your eyes, possibly. There's all kinds of ways to tell that you might have food sensitivities, and I did. The first thing I started cutting out was gluten, and then I went to dairy after that. But I also cut out other things like my sugar intake, how much I was doing of that. You have to monitor things. You have to be aware. You have to be, you know, you just have to be thinking about what you're putting in your mouth, really, what you're eating, what you're drinking, and just be mindful. Be mindful of what you're doing, because it really is. Food is information to the body. It sends, you know, it has phytochemicals if it's real food, you know, and it sends good information to your cells.
Well, and food is not our enemy.
Mm-mm.
And there's a commercial out there that, you know, shows the food beating us up. It's only because it's the wrong food. You never see any broccoli beating you up. I mean, seriously, when they have those commercials, you don't see Brussels sprouts beating that person up. It's hot dogs and you know, French fries chasing them around. That's because that's the bad food, you guys. So when you know your body, you can like everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. So you can definitely, you know, do your stuff in moderation. And apparently having ulcerative colitis or any gut issue is a food sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line, that's what it is.
Yep.
And so when you learn how to eat, that food sensitivity is going to go away. And that's exactly what Crystal did. And that's exactly why we do Wellness Wednesday. Because that was how many years ago? 12?
Oh, I was diagnosed in 2006. But when I was 24, I had that bad flare up again, which was like 2012, I believe.
You guys. Yeah, that's before people were talking about this stuff, is what I was getting at.
Yeah, you know, we have so many options today compared to what we had when I had to start looking for gluten-free things and dairy-free things. I had to make a lot of my own stuff because it just wasn't in the stores yet. You can't just like buy, you couldn't always find the nut milks even,
And
the
even
almond
if
milk.
you did, it tasted like cardboard.
Yeah, a lot of things did not taste good. It was very bland. The texture wasn't right, you know. I remember what it used to taste like. I was actually scared to try certain things again because I was like, oh, no, that did not. I remember how that tasted, but then I realized, oh, they have a new recipe. Some things you'll see on gluten-free items are like, new recipe. I'm like, oh, yes, I'll try that now. And it's great. Tastes fantastic.
Which brings me to a point. One time, Crystal and I are going to go shopping. We're going to film us shopping so that you guys can see the good. Seriously, we're going to go and maybe to Aldi's, maybe to Costco, or maybe to both, and just start snipping. You know, we're going to show you guys what to look for on labels, and what is good. She obviously is not. She's eating. So there are a lot of foods out there. Kathy's eating. So there are a lot of good foods out there that we can tell you guys what to look for in grocery stores to help, because that's one of the questions people have. Like, okay, so what do I look for on label? Or, you know, what is good and what isn't good? And Crystal she's done a lot. She even showed me how to do tofu, because I ate it one time and I was like, never again, because I did not like the texture. But tell them what you do with tofu.
So tofu, there's a little trick to it. When I first get it from the grocery store, I actually freeze it first before I want to use it, because when you freeze it and then you thaw it, it changes the texture of tofu. And so if you want to make something to taste like chicken, and you know, chicken's a little pooly, like, you know, it's not, it wouldn't just crumble. Tofu would normally crumble. And you want something like a chicken, like you know, more like
fibers.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Or muscles or whatever.
And you can freeze it again and thaw it again. You can do it a second time if you want to. But I usually just have time to do it once. I don't really think about doing it a second time unless I'm like preparing for a party or something. But yeah, you do freeze it and then thaw it. And then you make sure you squeeze out all the liquid, and you can rinse it if you want, whatever. But you want to make sure all the liquid is squeezed out from it. It's pretty, you know, dry. And you can make it as a crumble. You can cut it into chunks depending on what you want to do. For instance, when I make taco meat, I crumble it, you know, and I put a lot of seasoning in it. Tofu does take a lot of seasoning, but don't be scared of it. It's good. Seasoning's good. You know, spices. Just make sure your spices. That's another thing I might need to mention right now, because just because
I was going to do it. I know what you're going to say. There are a lot of gluten in spices.
Yep. There's a lot of gluten. There's a lot of sugar in different spices. So, and then also packages. All packages contain flour in it, and that is gluten right there.
Which, by the way, I'm glad she said something about seasons, because I have a wonderful source of a guy that does seasoning, and he has no sugar in his, no gluten in his. It's all natural, and trust me, it is good. Awesome. Did you ever get it to your mother-in-law, by the way?
I did actually. I did.
I'm going to have to check up with her.
Yep.
Yeah. So I just wanted to tell you, I have a direct line to this guy. Okay.
Yep.
So you guys, if you need some good seasonings, he is a phenomenal cook, and he creates his own seasoning, anywhere from Oriental, Asian to barbecue. I mean, anything in between those two, he has. It's amazing. And I think his next creation is going to be Mexican. Oh, I know. I cannot wait. Yeah, because that's my favorite. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. The reason
I even mentioned her about the tofu is because I had tofu once, and I'm a texture eater. But she and I did a show on Cinco de Mayo last year, and we did the taco meat with tofu, and I could not believe it, you guys. Could not believe how good it was. I'm like, Krista, what did you do to this tofu? And that's how I knew that she froze it and then squeezed out the stuff, and then you season it really well with her own seasoning, by the way. She makes her own because of the gluten and the sugar in normal seasonings out there, which is why I mentioned
I'm pretty sure it takes like 10 seasonings or something. It's a lot. It's a lot. But
and if you don't mind, can I go ahead and mention what the seasoning is? Because some people may be like, what is it?
Yeah, we can mention the
the company, his company is pixiedust.co. Pixie Dust, and the Pixie is Pixy. Is it Y? I think it's Y. Whatever it is, it's not the way that it's normally spelled. It's the opposite way. It's the Y. Okay. PIXYDUST.co. And go on there and you'll see all of his seasonings, you guys. It's simply amazing. It tastes really good. And I've been, giving them out. So I wanted you to know that they're all natural, gluten-free, sugar-free. I just absolutely love it. And he does a great job.
That's a good idea to go there. Something already made it for you. You don't have to think about, what you're putting on your meat or anything. Something fast and easy, because I'm so used to it. So it's like out of habit, and I already know it in my head, like what my seasonings are. So I have big mason jars of, I make big mason jars of it and mix all the seasonings together in there and just have it ready to go when I need it. And I have this for just a few of my favorite things, like that we eat more often than not, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, you have to do that with the tofu, season it real well. And then the second step, second or third step, whatever you want to call it. I don't know where I'm at. But when you cook it, you want to do it for a long time, like pretty much medium low and you want to cook it long and slow pretty much, because, well, maybe medium heat, I would say, even high heat towards the end if you want to brown it, in the beginning, or however you want to do it. But the longer you cook it, it tightens up like meat. Like it's not so squishy, because tofu is kind of actually squishy at first, or it crumbles. It depends on if you have the liquid in it still. All these things, it's different, and you got to learn how to work with these things. But it's easy once you realize, oh, this is what you do every time. It's just a simple step. And I love the fact that I don't have to stick my hand in ground meat and get all the germs, and you have to wash out. You have to make sure nothing gets underneath your nails when you touch other food and things, and it just takes away the germ stuff for me when I make tofu. I'm using plant-based product, And but yeah, it tightens up like meat, and it looks like meat. It's brown just like the beef you would eat normally, and it tastes like it. A lot of people come over to our house and eat it, and they don't really notice the difference at all. They're like, this is really good, and maybe even better. So they're like, I can go vegan with this, you know.
Well, and you want to cook it in a high heat oil, which one of them is grapeseed oil
Yes,
and another one is avocado oil,
correct.
because it
Perfect.
does not produce its own oils, you guys. So you have
Yes.
to add oil to it. And those are two good natural oils that are good in high heat. Olive oil is not good in high heat. It will
Goes
scorch.
rancid.
It
Yes.
will scorch, and you don't want it to do that. Obviously, butter's the same way. You don't want to do that if you use real butter. I have not gone over to the vegan butter because I'm not vegan, you guys. I love meat. But Crystal does make a really good vegan butter, and I would love for her to tell us her recipe one day. But I mean, I couldn't believe how good it was. And I am a butter connoisseur. Like, I seriously know what butter tastes like. And
Yep.
when I had hers, it was really good.
Should have seen
So,
her eyes.
yeah.
She like shook them out, bite, and she's like, "Hold on," you know. That'd be like, "Look, like, wait a minute."
I didn't know that y'all ate butter. That's what I think I said. And she said, "No,
Yeah,
that's my vegan butter." And I'm like, "Oh, what?"
yeah. It was
Yeah,
good.
it was
Yeah,
good.
we eat that on everything, you know. And I make a big mason jar of it, make it my Vitamix, and it's good to go. And I'm not having
Mm,
I'm having all good fats, you know, and good
yeah.
omega-3s, and there's nothing bad in it. It literally has nutrition in it. So nutritional yeast has a lot of, is what I add to it. And that has a lot of B vitamins in it. Great for our energy production, our gut health, brain health, all kinds of things, nerves, you name it.
So I've been sending you some stuff on TikTok. I hope you've been going and look on it. It's been some interesting things. And one of them is that one guy said that we have two brains. One is in our head and one is in our gut. And we
Correct.
say that all the time, but I wanted to mention that because if we're feeding our brain, there are two brains we're trying to feed. I want you guys to know that it's not just one. And so the better food we put in our bodies, our gut is going to have to digest it for our brain to use it.
That's right. That's right.
And so we're not digesting our food completely and wholly, and we need to start doing that. But there are a couple of things that Crystal has for us that we want to see. But before you go to that, I want you guys to know that I can send you, there are a couple of lists that you can have that will give you the food that are alkaline, high in alkaline, because that's important as well. And high in alkalinity will take the inflammation out. So
Absolutely.
just to let you know, there are a lot of foods out there that you can eat that has high in alkalinity that is very good. So if you want those lists, just let me know. We can text it. And I will, I'll say my phone number again. Or you can reach us through our website.
Yeah,
You can absolutely do that. So
yeah. So we've been talking about gluten a lot. I'll go here first because when we start talking about dairy, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. So gluten, a lot of people, first we want to know what that is. Some people ask, what is gluten? Gluten is actually a protein that just think of it as glue, kind of sticky, and certain people just can't break it down. For instance, it can cause bleeding in the colon, in the gut, when you have a food sensitivity or you're allergic to it. For instance, like celiac disease, but you don't have to have celiac disease to have a gluten sensitivity. I have gluten sensitivity, and it takes time. I feel like it's not as bad as it used to be. You can repair your gut so it's not so gluten sensitive, because in the past, I was not able to eat oats or anything like that. That would even inflame me. And now I can actually eat oats. So I've gradually, even though oats are gluten-free for the most part, they still have some of those proteins in it, but they can only have a certain amount in it to be labeled gluten-free. And so it does still have some gluten in it. So I would steer clear of it if you do have celiac disease.
By the way, I'm so glad that you kept saying celiac, because I was going to ask you to break down what exactly is celiac disease.
Yeah, celiac disease, they're allergic to gluten, and it causes inflammation also in their entire digestive tract, and it does different things to their body. It can give them headaches. It can give you stomach pains, constipation, diarrhea, both, blood in your stools, tears in your gut lining, stomach lining, and in your intestinal lining. It makes a lot of tears and different things. So it just causes a lot of inflammation in the body for them, and they're just way more sensitive to it than other people. Everybody's body is different, so you have to understand that. So another thing is, when we go gluten-free, we want to think about, everybody's like, yeah, let's go gluten-free. It's healthy for you. Well, not everything that it's gluten-free is actually healthy for you either. And I want to talk about a couple of things that are on this list right here because I found this for a reason. Even though I posted it, I don't agree with everything on it that you should be eating if you are going gluten-free. Because corn, anything made from corn is actually, it has a lot of proteins in it as well that are just like gluten. So when your body sees that, it doesn't know the difference between the other gluten and corn. So it treats it like gluten and corn. Well, it can definitely constipate, makes poop sticky. I mean, it makes you bloated. It can cause, the dysbiosis, the overgrowth of intestinal bacteria. You don't digest it, and what you don't digest turns into acid in the body. So you're just making your body more acidic. So think about those things. There's other reasons why we don't want to eat corn. And for instance, like popcorn up there, it says popcorn can get actually lodged into your appendix, causing pain there, inflammation, and a lot of people get their appendix removed. And really, maybe you should just stop eating popcorn. I'm being honest here.
I used to husks in popcorn that don't go away, and so diverticulitis. People that suffer from diverticulitis, they're told not to eat seeds, nuts, and popcorn for that very reason.
And I know popcorn is like, I believe it's on the keto side. It can be, it's low in calorie. A lot of people like to eat that as a snack. It's just something you can munch on. And I used to love it too. I did not cut popcorn out until about maybe 5 years ago, or 3 to 5 years ago, because what happened was they actually did start making my appendix and get inflamed. And I was like basically hunched over in pain, not being able to stretch out or anything. And someone that I would love to bring on here sometime, I'm actually going to mention her name because I would love for her to be on here. Her name's Dale Scott. She's a master herbalist. She does reflexology. She's amazing. She's been one of my mentors throughout this whole journey I've went through with ulcerative colitis. And I remember one year, I have to tell you the story. Let me take this off real fast because this is a story, man. It blew my mind.
I was thinking about her to come on as we were talking about.
I would love for her. Yeah. I'm going to ask her. I definitely am going to ask her because she is like, not only is she one of my mentors, you guys, but she is like a grandmother to me. I lost my grandmothers a long, long time ago. And when I met her, her spirit was, her glow, everything was, it just kind of mimicked my grandma. I hope I don't cry today. But I still miss them. It's been years, since 2008 and 2009 when I lost my grandparents or my grandmothers. And I just met her and I just felt this like connection with her instantly. And anyways, but one year I went to a health convention or a naturopathic convention, whatever you want to call it. And I got there and I haven't had a little anxiety from, riding on the plane. You don't eat right when you ride on the plane, getting there and everything, or you don't eat enough or whatever it is. You don't drink enough water. There's a lot of things I don't do when I travel on planes, so I don't have to use the restrooms or anything. And so I guess it was just anxiety. And also, I don't know what happened, but like the next morning we were going to have our general session thing. And I got up, got ready, but then all of a sudden I had this like sharp shooting pain down in my appendix and I was doubled over, couldn't hardly walk or move. I thought it felt like I should have went to the emergency room. And luckily I carry herbs on me and essential oils and, emergency stuff. And this was a convention of naturopathic doctors and master herbalists, you name it. So I was in the right place. Let me just say that.
Absolutely.
And I know hundreds of, or maybe even thousands of these people, but I called her, or I tried to get a hold of my naturopathic doctor, but she was, I think, going on stage or something, so she couldn't answer her phone. And then I called Dale, and Dale's her name, and she's a master herbalist, like I said. And I was like, or I didn't actually call her, but I like text her, and she wasn't answering her text. So I had a person staying with me, my friend Debbie. She was staying with me in the hotel, and she went downstairs and she found Dale, and she told Dale what was going on, and that I was like doubled over in pain, couldn't move. It was sharp shooting. Like she thought I should have went to the emergency room, basically. So Dale says, "Say no more. I'm coming." Like, she was just, say no more. I'm gonna get there. So she came up to my room. She got some essential oils. She'd done some work on me because she does some body work, and she was moving moving energy. Does that make sense? She's an energy worker too, and she was massaging where it was my ileocephal valve, the appendix area, and different things. And she could tell that it was from nerves and stress and anxiety. And she worked on me for a good 30 minutes. And I tell you what, I was able to walk again and get up and go do things after that. And I took she told me certain herbs to take, and I was able to, I didn't have to go to the emergency room. You know, it passed, whatever happened. And that's just one thing. And every time I felt that kind of pain, it was because I ate popcorn. So I think I might have had some popcorn or something. I can't remember, a long time ago. But I'm just saying, that's the power of, you know, holistic healing. What you can do, you can manually manipulate the body energy and things, you know, to move it around where you need it. Most people, if you don't know these things, yes, you're going to go to the emergency room. Please go to the emergency room if you don't have somebody or know somebody like that. You know what I mean? Or if you don't have somebody you can trust, you know, that knows how to do this kind of thing. But yes, please get some help. But I was surrounded by a ton of naturopathic doctors, and like I said, she's a master herbalist, all kinds of things.
Which that brings up a good point too. I just want you guys to know, although Crystal was able to heal her body through eating well and herbs and essential oils and things like that, just know that doctors have their places. And we're never telling you not to go to the doctor. We're never telling you the doctors are wrong. We're just telling you that doctors are one way and this is another way. Okay. And things may not work for you. Like somebody that had the same exact thing that Crystal had, everything worked for them. But this didn't work for her. And so she had to find an alternative. And that alternative was holistic means. Now, I'm not going to ever tell you holistic means is not better than medicine, because it is. Because all it is going back to basics, is going back to the earth, where God created us, how he created us anyway. Every bit of medicine that you take is a chemical compound. It's chemical. It's not natural.
Even herbs are chemical, but they're phytochemical, meaning the chemicals come from plants, and our body is more acceptable to it. It knows how to assimilate it. It doesn't treat it as a
artificial means is what I'm talking about, though. These are artificial means, and the artificial means is not what you want. You don't want it. You don't want it in your body. Not at all. Of course, everything that we do is chemically, you know, balanced or imbalanced or things like that. But when I mean chemical, I mean literally chemicals that are created in a lab that are not anything coming from the earth. And so those things are more harmful because they not only fix, and I even do this, there's always a side effect.
Yeah.
Always a side effect.
It treats the symptom. It treats the symptom. It doesn't get to the root cause. It treats the symptom.
Because sometimes the side effect is worse than the symptom. And a lot of times I would prefer to deal with the symptom than the side effects of a medicine. So, you know, it's kind of you and individually you on what you want to do, but doctors have their place. They're very important people. They have education beyond education, but they don't have all the education. And that's all I'm saying.
Right. Because they only study certain things. So yeah, but you know, you can explore that, and we can help you explore the holistic, you know, world and see what it does for you, for sure. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that picture back up real fast, because I'm just going to finish a couple of things. But yeah, obviously, if you're a vegan, you're not going to be eating boiled eggs or anything. But and I also have to say something about rice cakes. Rice cakes, it's not that they're terrible for you. I'm not going to say that. But rice does contain a little more arsenic, you know, than other things. And rice is also a starch. It spikes the insulin. So just understand that it is going to spike your insulin when you eat something like that. And when you spike your insulin, you are messing with your hormones. It makes your hormones fluctuate as well. When your blood sugar fluctuates, your hormones fluctuate. And we wonder why we have hot flashes. And, you know, when we're going through menopause or something, or if we have irregular periods or painful period cramps and things, or heavy excessive bleeding, you know, that's all estrogen dominance. And that comes from eating too much sugar and carbs and foods with chemicals in it. So there's that. And also, I think everything else here looks pretty good, except, you know, again, if you're having any inflammation in your gut and you're going through any type of colitis, diverticulitis, anything, Crohn's, you know, you name it, just know that nuts and seeds, they are good for you. They have great omega-3 fatty acids, you know, they have some fiber in it, and they have good protein and all kinds of things, but just make sure you eat it in moderation. And if you are having any inflammation in your gut, I would eliminate that until the inflammation goes away, because sometimes nuts and seeds can cause a little bit of inflammation in the gut, because, for instance, if you have diverticulitis, it can get caught in those pockets with the bacteria and cause a little bit of pain, and they don't move out because what you need is actually a different type of fiber. You need all kinds of fiber, because fiber helps sweep the walls of your colon to get all that stuff out. And that means you just need to add more fiber in your diet. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, though. But yeah, all these other things are great sources of gluten-free snacks. And there's a lot more in the store, like I said, than there used to be. If you don't want to cook something yourself, there's just a lot of options. I just remember there was no options when I was first starting out. And there's,
can I say something about fiber real quick? When you take a fiber, whatever fiber, make sure that you're a little cleaned out first, because we don't want that fiber to bulk up and then cause you more issues. And people would think, I'll never do fiber again. No, fiber is very good for you.
Yeah.
But we don't want you to have a bad experience with it.
Fiber is really good too, not only to help the colon out, but it helps block sugar absorption. So instead of absorbing all that sugar and creating inflammation and spiking insulin levels, when you eat fiber with your diet, or have a fiber supplement maybe 15 minutes before your meal, it can help block that sugar absorption for you, so you can maintain blood sugar levels and have it in balance. But next I want to talk about is dairy real quick. I know we don't have a lot of time left in the show, but
we've got plenty of time. But yeah,
well,
this is important.
Good. So this is super important. Dairy is actually probably the #1 thing you should eliminate in your diet when you're having any kind of inflammation or pain in your body.
Other than sugar.
Other than sugar, yes. And the reason we usually cut dairy out first is because, you know, this is a lot, guys. Get your notebooks. And I'm just kidding. But dairy, one, it causes mucus in the body. Mucus is yeasty stuff, causes inflammation. It can start, you know, messing with your thyroid, causing fatigue and different things. You'll have sinus issues, possibly skin issues, rashes, acne, eczema, psoriasis, asthma. Asthma is huge relation with, you should be cutting out dairy. Usually when you just cut out dairy, you eliminate most of your allergies, seasonal allergies even. What's it called? Postnasal drip. You'll probably eliminate that if you cut out the dairy. Bloating, distension, constipation, diarrhea. If you cut out dairy, a lot of those things will disappear. And there are ways of doing this. You know, for instance, I would cut it out for a full 30 days. And then if you introduce it back into your diet, your body will give you the full reaction, the true reaction to that item. So that's another thing that you'll know if you're allergic. And over 75% of the world's population is lactose intolerant. You have to understand that we are not meant to keep, you know, drinking. We're not even supposed to be drinking milk after infancy. And we have to know that, you know, cow's milk is there to make a calf gain 2,000 pounds in 6 months. You have to understand that there are antibiotics in this. So whatever the animals are eating or whatever's injected to them, you are also getting that. That's very important to understand. It's not just about like what it does and everything to the body. You have to know that whatever the animals are eating, you're getting. So if there's antibiotics injected, which there always is, you know, if it's farm-raised animals and things, they just do that. And hormones. A lot of hormones are usually growth hormones are added. Facebook user, sorry, I was adding a thing. This is good to know. So a lot of growth hormones are added, which increases your weight and size. It can mess with the reproductive organs, and not only their body, but your body as well. Even if the cow's milk says it's no hormones added, just know that they milk the milk mostly when the cows are pregnant, so you're getting a ton of hormones anyways. That's another thing what people don't understand. So you're usually getting hormones no matter what, even if the hormones are not injected, because they usually milk the cows when they are pregnant anyways, and their hormones are out of whack.
The girls nowadays are developing a whole lot earlier.
Yes, that is 100% facts.
And I mean, they just are. I mean, you can see an 11-year-old, she's 15. So yeah.
Wow, this person says. So yeah, another thing, you know, I want to talk about calcium and vitamin D and stuff like that, and how they say this is in milk. There's actually no vitamin D in your milk that's actually added. And also, it's not always good to have a lot of calcium without your vitamin D. We don't need to keep increasing calcium levels. I know a lot of doctors say, increase your calcium levels, you need calcium. Well, calcium actually, when it's not digested properly, when it's not assimilated in the body and you don't absorb it right, it actually calcifies, hardens, clogs your arteries basically. And so calcium turns into that hardened stuff in your arteries.
It's kidney stones.
Yep, kidney stones,
and
that's
it's
true.
bladder stones. It can hurt you guys. So,
yep.
Yeah.
And here's another thing, increasing your vitamin D level will help you increase your calcium absorption. And I want you to know that there are plenty of studies done. I can't remember what the study is, but you could probably Google it and find it. It's done by two Harvard University doctors, some of the best in the world. And they did studies to show that, you know, how, because, you know, you remember those Got Milk commercials, Got Milk, Got Milk? They actually got sued and had to have that taken off because they couldn't prove that calcium gave you, cow's milk gave you calcium for your bones. So that was like outlawed or whatever, banned, whatever you want to call it. I know I'm talking fast. Oh man, I need to slow down. I'm so passionate about this. I'm just like, oh, no milk. So anyway.
Well, actually, let's go back a little bit because that was the impetus of the reason why you were having your issues with your gut. Explain that.
So that's also true. So years ago, I grew up like this, drinking whole milk, whole cow's milk, and I loved it so much that I would drink 1 gallon of cow's milk to myself. Nobody else, because my mom hated milk. My mom didn't drink milk. So it was just me and her when I grew up. I would drink 1 gallon of cow's milk every 3 days to myself, pretty much. Had milk all the time. In the morning with breakfast. I had it when I went to bed. Oh my goodness.
Literally stripping
calcium from my bones.
Yes.
And speaking of that, stripping minerals from your bones, I have scoliosis. That's related. And also creating all that inflammation, you know, in the body. That was probably a lot of it too. I did have also all my life, I drank cow's milk, I ate yogurt, I did butter, I did all these things. And for my entire life, most of it, before I started doing natural stuff, you know, changing it over, I always had sinus infections, sinus issues, seasonal allergies all year long. I took Claritin, I think it's called, is it Zantac, Benadryl, you name it, Sudafed. What else did I take? And I also used to take for pain because I had a lot of things that went on from not having enough minerals. I took a lot of ibuprofen, naproxen sodium. I had bad periods. I had horrible periods, blood, lots of bleeding, you know, excessive bleeding, I should say. That's all estrogen dominance. That's what milk does. I can't stress enough how we don't want to eat, we don't want to drink milk or anything, because you don't need to drink milk to get calcium. Calcium comes from dark leafy greens like arugula, spinach. Chia seeds have just as much calcium in a serving that milk does, or even more actually. Has more calcium than broccoli, like chia seeds do. So you can eat, but broccoli has calcium as well. You know, green beans, anything green has calcium in it. So, and almond milk, yes. What about almond milk? This person says almond milk is a great alternative for a milk alternative, because you also want to get the unsweetened. So just make sure it doesn't say original, but you want it to say unsweetened, because again, like I said, even though it's a dairy alternative, or maybe it's a gluten-free alternative, whatever it is that you're doing it for, just make sure you're getting unsweetened, because extra added sugars also cause inflammation in the body. And if you do like it sweet, something I do, if you really want to, you can always add a little monk fruit or stevia or something like that to your milk, just a little sprinkle of it, just to give it that tad of sweetness if that's what you really want. But yeah, almond milk is one of my favorites. You can do cashew milk. You can do coconut milk.
Cashew milk is naturally sweet because they're sweetened in cashews.
Yeah, so
there's sugar in there.
As long as there's no added sugars, but yeah, natural's totally fine. But yeah,
my daughter was drinking oat milk.
Oat milk's good too. Just have to make sure that, again, that one says gluten-free on it. I don't really trust the ones that don't say gluten-free on it, because there's some different brands and it will actually say gluten-free on it, and the other ones will not say gluten-free. So maybe there are more of those proteins in it. They just had too much gluten proteins in it, so they couldn't label it gluten-free. So yeah, make sure that you get the gluten-free one that's really tasty and good. You know, I like that one a lot too.
So,
And it
Crystal,
does.
I know that I just have a question though. So, what is happening in the body, like to your liver, when you have a high sensitivity in food allergies?
Your
Like,
liver is very bombarded if you're having a lot of allergies. Your liver does over 500 functions in the body. Like I said, drinking, if you can drink alcohol, eat too many sugars, sweets, if you just overdo it, even there's just a lot of things that you can do to over bombard your liver. If your body's not eliminating properly, like having enough bowel movements like it should daily, then
which should be at least 3 times a day, you guys. If you're
for
eating
sure,
3 times a day, you should have 3 bowel movements a day. About
yep.
30 minutes after you eat, if I'm not mistaken, I heard
Within 1 hour.
within
Yeah.
an hour. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's a healthy way. If you know you're not going within an hour, if you're going too soon, like 10 minutes after you eat, that's going too fast through the digestive tract, maybe. But after an hour, if you don't, poop for days or, whatever it is, you're backed up. And that also, when there's backup and sludge, your body keeps reabsorbing those toxins that are in the colon when it's not moving out. So the longer it stays in there, the longer it putrefies. It makes more gases, methane gases, causing distension, bloating, all kinds of things, gas, you name it. So yeah, there's a lot of things. A lot of people just try to just see what happens when you cut out dairy. I don't know. Sesame seeds also have a lot of calcium in it, by the way. Tahini, like putting that in your hummus or something like that, or you can use it for different things, Asian food, whatever. Has a lot of calcium in it. So there's other ways of getting calcium, vitamin D for your diet.
So what I was going to say too is that you guys, detoxing is very important. And that's what I was getting at when it came to the liver. When you detox the liver, let me tell you 2 things that happened that I had no idea what happened. You will not crave the bad stuff anymore.
True.
When you detox your liver, you want to have good, clean food. So you will not crave high cholesterol. Carbohydrates in foods. You won't crave those things. You want the good foods. It's amazing. You don't even crave sugar. I didn't think that it was possible, but it is definitely possible. When you clean your liver, that stuff, those cravings go away. You crave the good stuff. Yep. And then your allergies go away. I grew up having all kind of sinus issues because I thought I was just allergic to the air. And I know Dr. Hollis, and I can't find the show, but he said that we never grow out of our allergies. I don't know. He said they're still there dormant, but howsoever, I don't sneeze like I used to. My eyes don't water like they used to. I can tell the difference when I'm eating better. In my sinus, and I know the difference when I start eating something that's not right, like cheese. I love cheese. But if I eat enough of it, it's going to show up in my sinuses the next morning. I'm going to be like, why can't I breathe this morning? Oh, you had so-and-so last night.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that's it. So a lot of times I'll eat Mexican food with no cheese on it. People think I'm crazy. Just like I go to Italian restaurants with no bread. I don't need the bread, you guys. It's going to fill me up and I want my meal. And people are like, you can do that? Yeah, I don't have to have bread. And so, yeah, things like that. It's just little bitty things, you guys. Do everything in moderation. We don't want you to do everything all at once because you'll go crazy. But start chipping away at your foods and see, like Crystal said, eliminate stuff for 30 days.
And there's dairy alternatives plenty now you can get. I will admit that the cheeses and things aren't all that great at the store yet. They're getting better. There's certain brands and certain kinds that I'll eat, and there's certain ones I won't. You just have to know also what to add it with. It doesn't taste good with everything. I'm going to be honest. I'm just being honest, and but you can make your own cheeses. I make my own cheese sometimes. I actually know two vegan chefs who make different types of cheeses in my family, and they have their own company. They do this, and I tell you what, they are on point. Let me just tell you, like they make the cream cheese, they make the buffalo mozzarella style that I love. They even make the butters. And she's my mother-in-law. She's one of the vegan chefs, and she makes a European style butter, and it's a little tangy, and I actually like it. It's really good. But she makes all kinds of cheeses. So does my brother-in-law. He has invented so many great recipes. I'm not sure which one of them did it, but I'll tell you what, this is not the greatest, most healthiest thing, but I'll tell you, it was really good and it tasted legit. Let me tell you this. They made something I have not had since, I don't know, I was a kid. They made a corn dog, but with a carrot. They smoked it and everything, and it tasted like a hot dog. And I don't eat hot dogs either, guys, because we'll get that on that another subject. But they smoked a carrot, made it, and it tasted like a hot dog, the texture and everything. And then they made their own batter, so the batter was gluten-free. I was able to eat it. It was corn, so I don't always do that all the time. It did have the cornmeal in it because you gotta have the original, corn dog. Yeah. And I tried that, and all my senses in my body just lit up. I was like, oh snap, that is delicious. So, like, they make it happen. Let me tell you that. Like, they're some of the best. They have some of the best recipes, and they have vegan pop-ups here and there. And if you just pay attention to our page, you might see I share a vegan pop-up, and hey, check it out because it's really good.
Yeah, we've eaten that often. We follow their pop-ups. Yeah, they're pretty good.
There's other good places to eat though. There's one of my other favorite places is called Freestyle Poke. It's in Kansas City, Missouri, I think. Yeah, and it's really good too. It's a Hawaiian type of thing, but they do like all like vegan and gluten-free things, and not all of it's gluten-free, but it's very good. So there's lots of options out there, guys. There's restaurants that have stuff now, especially in the city. You can find downtown most places in different states. Downtown, always there's something that you can eat.
And I want to say real quickly that Chipotle is a very good, healthy place to eat. They really are good to eat there. And they even offer the tofu ground beef.
They do.
And they have brown rice. I will tell you, all rices have arsenic in it just because it's saturated with water growing, and it's a natural substance in the ground. So just know that when you cook your rice, cook it like it's pasta. Rinse it first.
That's right.
Then cook it with a lot of water. Pour that water off, and then rinse it again. And you'll get a lot of it out, not all of it. But arsenic, if you know what it is a poison that literally kills rats. So just letting you know, it's a lot of arsenic in our rice, and we have been cooking it wrong. We need to saturate it with a lot of water. And when I say water, I mean bottled water, not water from the tap, because you're adding more junk to it. So just use reverse osmosis water, please, when you are cooking anything. When you put anything in your mouth, you need to be doing reverse osmosis water. If you don't have a machine, get bottled water. It's better than the water coming from the tap.
Yeah, reverse osmosis or alkaline, whichever one you want to use.
Any bottled water that is cookable. You just need
I think reverse osmosis is cheaper than alkaline though. So.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah.
It is.
But yeah,
I drink alkaline water because of several reasons, but I drink it because it tastes so much better to me than just bottled water. And I can't drink all bottled water. Some bottled water gets me sick. So I just want you guys to know, not all bottled water are created the same. Right. But you just have to know your body, just like Crystal and I said. You have to know your body and know what it'll take and what it won't take. And do what you need to do to make yourself feel better. Go ahead. What does that say?
And this is very good and helpful information. Thank you. You are so welcome. Let me tell you that. I just want to say a couple more things about that study that was done by some Harvard University, I think doctor, scientists, whatever, forgot what they are, but they're there. And they did the study on the dairy and everything, and how they had a couple of facts that I wanted to point out. They said by drinking or eating dairy, it increases your fracture rate by 9% actually. So it's actually less beneficial than taking like calcium and things, Well,
it's calcium from the bones, so that makes sense.
Yep, exactly. And then it also increases your chance of like prostate cancer, colon cancer, and like people who have endometriosis and things like that. It increases all those chances of having that. So just know that's what dairy can do if you're eating probably every day, or it's normal in your diet, let's just say.
I also want you guys, we're going to talk about this with Dr. Hollis one day, but we have talked about poop before, like poop.
Yep. Dr. Doodoo, that one.
The color of your poop is very important. And I want to talk about that when we talk with him on one of our shows. I'm not going to say it's the next show. But the color of your poop means a lot, and it has a lot to do with it has everything to do with your eating. not a lot to do, but everything to do with your eating.
That's right.
And it can really tell you a lot of stuff. Not only that, but the smell, but most definitely the color, because a lot of colors, like, I mean, they're different shades, and yeah, we
That's
need
right.
to we need to talk about that as well. So, Crystal, this was so phenomenal. I love it when it's just you and I. It doesn't always have to be somebody else with us. We can do this, girl. It's amazing how we fight and what you say, and you're so knowledgeable. I just love your knowledge and how you teach people. So I want to thank everyone who has come to be with us today. I hope that you all, even when you listen to this in the rebroadcast, text 10 people and tell them or send them the link. When you go to YouTube and copy that link, send them the link and say, you need to listen to this because your children are drinking milk.
Or eating gluten or whatever.
Or eating gluten-free food. I mean, eating gluten food. So we need to get all that out of their system, and sugar. Please get rid of sugar.
Can I mention one thing about that? Sugar and carbs, which is usually sugar and flour, something made out of white flour. There are 3-year-olds having high cholesterol right now because their diet mostly consists of high carb diet and high sugar diet, and that is also the standard American diet, what everybody's feeding their kids nowadays. And then you have, on top of that, a lot of kids are eating McDonald's and getting all those trans fats and things. So there are even 3-year-olds that have high cholesterol right now, and that is really hard on their heart health. They're little babies with little hearts. You have to understand that. So just do some research. You know, you might not want to feed the things you're feeding your kids anymore once you find out.
On that subject, the diabetes in America is it's a pandemic. It's
1 in 3. It's 1 in 3 people have diabetes, or 1 in 3 people have cancer.
And it doesn't just start in adulthood, is what I'm getting at. Like, we're feeding our kids wrong, and so it's developing into, diabetes, and we need to start giving them way better.
Pandemic. It's a pandemic. I call it diabetes and overweight, both things, obesity, or diabetes and obesity. So it's diabetes. It's a pandemic. It's a pandemic. And like I said, food is information, food is medicine, and we just need to start being mindful.
Well, pandemic means worldwide. I don't know if it's diabetes are pretty bad on the outside of the United States, but it's definitely an epidemic. Yeah, and we need to get rid of the epidemic in America.
There you go. That's the word.
Correctly. Epidemic.
Yeah.
I said pandemic too. So I had to correct myself.
It's like both. It's like both almost. But yeah.
What pandemic actually means, pandemic is the world, but what we are talking about here in the United States, we are so bad in our diet because of all the fast foods and everything that we eat. And then it's so easy to just pass it on to our kids.
Right.
And we just need to fix ourselves.
Yep, we do. And I also want to mention one more thing. Really, they'll say Black African American people have higher rates of diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and it's really all indigenous people too. So just know that is the statistics, the real thing, the facts. We need to reach the communities. We need to get out there and teach them these things about how to eat. And it's really, and another thing me and Kathy want to do is because at some point in time, is because, there's not always fresh produce available, in certain areas. And we need to get out there in these certain areas and help these people because, like sometimes people have to travel even an hour away just to get some fresh produce. And
they don't have the means to do it.
They don't have the car. They don't have any money to get there. Whatever it is.
We're talking mostly inner city people, you guys. Yes. Let's just be real. So mostly the inner city just don't have, they're on bus routes and things like that, and they just don't have grocery stores around them. And we just need to get that food to them. So Chicago's good at doing that. Chicago is really good at doing that. So if you ever want to look and see what they're doing on the inner city, there's a couple, it's a Black couple that do food, little bitty food. I don't even want to call them food stands. They're actually grocery stores that they're building in the inner city. Is pretty amazing. So, we're going to try to do that one day when we are billionaires.
We just need to educate.
We are billionaires already.
That's right.
All right, you guys, this is a phenomenal show today. I hope that you had a great time with us. We always have a great time with you. Please, please, please share, like, and get the notification. And know that we're going to be here every Wednesday. And if we're not here every Wednesday, then call us and see where we are, because something's wrong. All right, you guys, we'll see you next Wednesday for Wellness Wednesday, and you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you guys. Happy Wellness Wednesday. Bye.